عليكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. مساء الخير عليكم جميعا. معكم دكتورة رانيا عبد الخالق. I'm a GP in Ireland. I'm gonna moderate this session. It's about the GP training, the routes for GP training in Ireland. إن شاء الله معنا دكتورة ريم عبد الله, second year GP trainee, Northeast Scheme. She is going to talk about a national GB training. دكتورة عزة عبد الغفار, عزة أحمد, حتتكلم عن other pathways, mainly route GB application process. كل الشكر ل SDUI على إتاحة المنصة دي المتميزة دوما, وإتاحة الفرصة لنا لتنوير زملائنا ومساندتهم in preparation لخطوة مهمة جدا في رحلتهم المهنية. إن شاء الله حنبدأ بدكتورة ريم. دكتورة ريم, تعرفي عن نفسك؟ And you can start your presentation.
Okay. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أنا ريم عبد الله أحمد حسن أو ريم حسن, second year GB trainee, currently working as an SHO Obs and Gynae at Cavan General Hospital. I'm going to present a session on or an overview on the National GB Training Scheme, application process, eligibility criteria, and then a quick review of what you're going to expect on your 4-year training. So,
Inshallah, before Reem to start, we want this session يا جماعة to be quite interactive. We want to hear from you. فمشاركاتكم إن شاء الله الثرة القيمة هي المهمة بالنسبة لنا. keep your questions coming on the chat. وإن شاء الله هنفتح باب questions بعد two presentation. تفضلي يا ريم.
طيب زي ما قلت أنا I'm going to speak about the National Training Program in General Practice. First of all, let's start with why choosing GP as a specialist, as a specialty. First of all, like the excellent work-life balance and career flexibility. GP training or GP practice had a unique, it's very unique and it's very interesting that after you specialize and after you get the registration as a specialist, you can choose how many days per week you can work and how many hours per day as well. Excellent career flexibilities, as we will see after, like in the session after the training, you will have like you can work in the clinic, you can work in academia, you can work in the portfolio as well. Again, there is a diverse clinical work with opportunity to specialize. So in one day, a GP can see a pediatric patient. After that, can see a pregnant lady, antenatal, postnatal follow-ups, and geriatric and adult as well. So the clinical work and your day will be very interesting with diverse population or patient population. And of course, there is always an area to specialize and to develop special interest. Like some GPs will work special interest in women's health, special interest in dermatology, musculoskeletal, ortho, minor surgeries as well. Career and financial stabilities. There is always a demand on shortage of GP almost everywhere, UK, New Zealand, Australia, Ireland, Canada. So you can work everywhere and there's always a business opportunity in general practice as well. And real continuity of care. Like if you are one of the people who are very interested in developing long relationship with the patients, so GP is your place, so you can treat the patient or you will be the GP of the patient since the patient is infant throughout his adolescence, adults, and to old age. Also, GB will be treating a local community, a local area. The GB will know the problem, the health problem, and the within that area. So key aspect of my presentation, I'll be speaking about the application process of GB training here in Ireland, training years, support that trainee will have during their training, and the exam that you need to pass by the end of your training, and what happened after training. So the intake and recruitment. So the intake and recruitment of GB in Ireland here is organized by the ICGP, or the Irish College of General Practitioner, and it's very competitive process, let's say. So the application for GB training open each year around September, and for the training next July. So this year, the application, I think the window for application is closed for the training that will start in July 2026. So in 2025, a total of 1,800 application was received for 350 training seats. So it's quite competitive, as we have mentioned. It will be the same for 2026 as well. So before going to the application process and speaking about the steps of application, we will see the training structure of GB here in Ireland. So the GB training in Ireland is 4 years training. By the end of that, you'll be qualified as a GB. The first 2 years of your So the first 2 years of your training will be in hospital setting. You'll be working as an SHO in different specialities. You'll be working in emergency medicine, psychiatry, obstetric gynecology, medicine of elderly, palliative, whatever, you will have rotations. In the third and fourth year, you will be working as a GP registrar, and that will be based on a general practice or a surgery. 1 year of each, like two practices. So before speaking also on the steps of the training, let's see the training requirement or the eligibility criteria. The first thing that you need to have primary medical degree, which is MBBS, and then you should be eligible for registration on the trainee specialist division, saying that if you completed your internship in Sudan, that means you are eligible for the general division, and that will automatically will give you the eligibility for trainees specialist division as well after OET exam or English language exam. Then you need to meet the HSE English language competency requirement, and after that, the only requirement of the training is that it needs 9 months of paid full-time postgraduate acute hospital setting clinical experience in the past 3 years. And again, if you completed the housemanship or the internship within the past 3 years, so that you are eligible automatically, or any hospital setting, not necessarily the internship. Then you need to pass the exam. We will be talking about the exam shortly, the SJT and CBST. You need to pass the interview as well, and you need not to be registered in the rural GB training program, which will Dr. Raza speak about. So the application process, as we mentioned, the application process will open each year around September. So you will need to create account on Riser website. It's a website for the GB application, and if you are got acceptance, then it will go with you throughout your training. So if you just Google the ICGB or GB training application Ireland, so the Riser website will be the first things that you will have. Then you need to fill application part A. It's very simple, it's very easy application. And next you need to answer in the application part A. After that, you just choose your time preference for the test. So the test is run throughout the day. You can just select you want it early morning or late evening. And then declaration that you are not under any criminal or any disciplinary action under any medical council. And then you just pay the fees, 100 euro So at this stage, everyone who did this application, who filled the Part A application and paid the €100, will be eligible to sit for the exam. So they will not check your eligibility like the IMC registration and the English language test in this stage. So the question in application Part A is simple and straightforward. You will need just to tick that you have read and understand term and condition. You'll provide your first name, last name, date of birth, and your address, email, contact number, and gender, nationalities, and you confirm your current work permit in Ireland. If you are working in Ireland, then it depends on your work permit, but if you are outside Ireland, then you will mention that you need a work permit, and this will not affect your application. Then you will provide your IMC number, the Division of Irish Medical Council. As I mentioned, if you registered with the English language test and the internship, then you are under the general division. Overseas medical registration. So if you had your permanent exam from Sudan, then you are registered under Sudan Medical Council. Some are registered under the Saudi Medical Commission as well. So you just mention which council you are under. Entry level to medical school. Most of us are undergraduate in Sudan. AMI, CAO, HAEs. These are organizations here in Ireland. So if you're a graduate of Sudan, you will just tick no. Current post. So you will just write what are your current post and title. For example, if you are intern or you are SHO or you are registrar. So just be mindful when writing this to the term, the differences in terms, like in Ireland here, SHO is equivalent to medical officer in Sudan. So maybe you can just put an senior house officer if you completed your internship and not in training in Sudan. Country of primary medical qualification. Based on medical ground, I will require additional time for the test, yes or no. So if that you have any special need or anything, you can just tick that. So after you fill the application Part A and paid the €100, then you will sit to the exam. So all those who complete Part A will sit to the exam, as I mentioned, and there is no check for the eligibility criteria. So the exam, if you are familiar with the MSRA exam of UK, it's more or less the same here. So the test or the exam in the general practice training application process here is the SJT and clinical problem-solving test. So the test will be is of two components. The first component is the SJT, situation judgment test, and the second one is the clinical. So the situational judgment test is new for us, like in Sudan. We don't have this type of test or this type of examination or assessment. Basically, they will give you situations that you will encounter during your hospital work or your rotation, your interaction with your colleagues, with patients, with your consultant seniors. And then they will ask you how will you approach or what will you do in the situation. So in this year test, the SJT are approximately 45 scenarios, and it will assess your professionalism, empathy, coping with pressure, integrity, and measure of pro-social behavior and team working skill. It's very important when you are preparing for any exam, you know what they are assessing. So if you are aware that they're assessing the professionalism, empathy, and this 4 or 5 areas, then your preparation will base on these things. It will not measure any clinical knowledge, and the answer keys will follow 2 formats. So the SJT itself have 2 formats. The first type of question is a ranking option, and the second type of question is a multiple choice question. Example for the question is, as you can see here, this is the ranking question. They will give you a STEM or a situation, and after that, it will be followed by 5 options. Then they will ask you to rank these 5 options from the most appropriate to the least appropriate. So how to prepare for the exam is out of scope of today's presentation, but you need to be aware of the IMC ethical guideline, and you need to do some preparations for that. If you can just take a screenshot and then you can read this question after the session. And the second type of question in the SJT, they will give you a STEM and then followed by 8 options, and they will ask you to choose 3 appropriate action in the situation. Okay, again, you can take a screenshot and you can read the question after the session. Regarding the clinical problem solving test, or the second part of the test, it's clinical, it tests your clinical knowledge. So it's 50 single best answer question this year, and it's in 60 minutes. So that means it's each question is 1 minute or a 1 minute point 25, I think. So the question will explore candidate ability to diagnose, investigate, and manage. So this is very straightforward, and the bar for this question is not too high. So the level of difficulty of this question is a 6-year medical student can easily solve this question, and it's just set on a level of an intern. So if an old question will be, what is the diagnosis? What is the most likely diagnosis? And for in the investigation, they will ask you what is the gold standard investigation. Okay, in the management, for example, they will ask you what is the next step, what is a gold standard. So the question will be very easy question, and it's just like at the level of intern or 6-year medical student, final year medical student. So as I mentioned, so the standard expected that of the current intern. Example of the question, like if you see this question, you will know the level of difficulty. For example, 20-year-old man present to the emergency department, 1 hour history of rash, itching, swelling of lip, tongue, wheeze. Symptom began within minutes of receiving COVID booster vaccine. Systolic pressure 90, pulse is 100. So it's very obvious that this some kind of anaphylaxis, anaphylactic shock, and like it's treated by adrenaline. So more or less, all the question will be straightforward. It's single best answer, 1 from 5. And all the information, it's basically that information that's stuck in your mind from your medical school. For example, if someone came to you with severe shortness of breath, trachea deviated, hyperresonant chest, what's the next step? So the next step will be a needle in the second intercostal space. So this is the level of difficulty of the clinical question, actually. So the eligibility criteria is checked only after the exam. So all people who applied for the Part A exam, will sit for the exam. But only those who passed the exam or like get the score, then the eligibility criteria will be checked. The eligibility criteria, as we mentioned, you need to be eligible for registration under the trainee specialist register. That means you are either active IMC or you are eligible for registration, and that and your proof will be confirmation of eligibility from the IMC, either in email or letter. So most of us in Sudan, after the first application and submission of our document, we will wait about 4 to 6 months. So after the 6 months and after the assessor send you an email, that is the first assessment. By that time, you will know if you are eligible or not. And the second eligibility criteria is a HSE English language. So you need either to be currently working in the HSE. So if you're currently working, you don't need a fresh exam within 2 years. However, if you are not currently working, you need IELTS OET certificate, that exam that you sit within the past 2 years with a score that we own. So if you passed the exam and you are eligible, so you fit the eligibility criteria, then only then you will proceed to application part B. Application part B, so the question in the application also straightforward. You need to confirm your nationality of work permit. If you are outside Ireland, that means you need a work permit. eligibility requirement, the IMC and the HSE, as we mentioned, undergraduate medical qualification. Again, you will put your hospital experience now, and you will put it like starting from the most recent or the current job. For each job, you need to write the start date, end date, hospital site, supervising consultant. Then you will write your postgraduate qualification if you have any MRCB exams or any Royal College exams, any diplomas, any masters. You can just put it here. Recognition of prior learning. So if you completed your basic specialty training here in Ireland in pediatric medicine or emergency medicine, you will be eligible for the RPL pathway, which means that you just train for 3 years instead of 4 years. Okay. And then just declaration, and that's it. So as you can see here, the application for general practice does not need any audits, doesn't need any researches, only publication. It's an easy process. It is straightforward. It's very objective. It just needs that. It will be based on your score in that test that we mentioned and the interview. So no audits and no CV needed. Only the 9 months hospital experience. Shortlisting criteria, it depends on your performance on the SJT, on the tests and hospital experience. So if you have both of this, then you will just fill some forms, which is a validation, consent, and reference process, which means that you need to submit a reference form from 2 consultants. You will so you provide the name and contact detail of 2 supervising consultants with whom you worked in the last 3 years, and then you upload complete BST reference form. It's just like a form, I think 3 or 4 page form. You download that, you give it to your consultant will fill that, and then you just upload it. Consent to term and condition, just to make tick, and consent and declaration, and where relevant, upload additional documentation. After that, you will go, if you submitted the 2 references and you consented and you give the consent and declaration, everything, you go to the interview. The interview is very objective, and it will be in format of independent simulation station with a single marker at each station, which means that this is new for this year. The last 2 years, the ICGB was using what we called MMI, multiple mini interview, which means that, for example, the interview in our year, it was 6 questions or 6 stations. In each station, there is a different interviewer. Okay, so that is a very objective thing. So if you did anything wrong in the first question, the next interviewer won't know anything about you, won't know anything about your performance in the last interview. This is very objective, as I mentioned. And again, it will just test the GB competencies, as you can see here: empathy and perspective taking, communication skills, clinical knowledge, professional integrity, conceptual thinking, coping with pressure, effective team working. So all of this will be tested in the interview, and the preparation for the interview, it's more or less same as your preparation for the SJT exam. In the last 2 years, they were giving you situation more or less same as the situation in the SJT test. So this year, they mentioned they will have simulator patients, so there maybe it's a small difference from last year. After the interview, if you pass the interview, then they will ask you to select the scheme. So the GB training schemes in Ireland are 13 schemes distributed around 4 regions in Ireland. So you can select and you can rank all 14 schemes based on your preference, based on your geographical location as well. If all go well and you get an offer, then you will choose the place, you get an offer, and then you will sign the agreement with the ICGB, and that's it. So the offer process, it's very important to know that only from the clinical test, they will take only 10%. So the clinical test will comprise 10% only from your final score. The SJT is 50% from your final score. The interview is 40%. And Of course, if you are EU or stamp 4 citizen holder, then you will have a bonus. So the offer process in the ICGP or the GB training is it depends on HSE policy allocation of training places, which indicates that the priority is given to citizens of Ireland, EU citizen, UK national. Going through all this process, what I want to mention that the application and the assessment process of the ICGB and the general practice training is very objective and it's very fair as well. I was one of the lucky people who got the training from outside Ireland, and have few of my colleagues as well. They came from Pakistan directly. On the clinical test, on the interview, even if you don't have the EU citizenship, if you're not Irish, if you don't hold the stamp for, you still have a chance to get a training offer. Stamp for is a permanent residence, and you get it after 21 months working here. So just to recap, so here is a process again, and you can see it's a very lengthy process. It starts from September, and the last offer will be in May next year, and the training will start in July next year. So in September, the exam will be in later round, will go until the GB training will start in July the following year. So again, the training, as we mentioned, there is 2-year hospital rotation and 2 years GB rotations. Recognition of prior learning, as we mentioned, it will be only 3 years. Those who have basic specialist BSc here, from here, Ireland, in pediatric medicine and in emergency medicine. Very important thing to know is the general practice e-portfolio platform. This is a platform that you will log in. So it's just like it's an online platform. You will upload what we call interestable professional. Short, what it means, the release. So after your rotation in the hospital, so the release, the consultant should fill the ITER, and that means the release from that specific rotation, and just like in the assessment. You will also upload your attendance in the general practice. So a very unique feature for the general GB training is the day release. A day release is in short, it's just like a teaching session that GB will have. In the first and second year, it's only half day. For example, in the first year, we have every Tuesday. So in the morning, we go to the hospital from 9 to 1. And after 1, we go to the teaching from 1 to 5. In the third and fourth year, it's a full day. So from the start of the day, you just go to your teaching. Blended learning, sometimes the teaching will be online module. You complete that online module. You will attend some webinar, and that's it, what we call the blended learning. Day release, as we mentioned, half day in first, second year, full day in third and fourth years. During your training in GB, you need to pass 2 examinations. So the core knowledge test and the CCT test, which is clinical competency test. So it's more or less equivalent to part A and part 1 or part 2 in Sudan. So the core knowledge test, you will sit for this exam after 1 year of training. And the clinical competence test, you need to have 6 months in practice. So after 6 months in the third year. During your training, there is always a support from the HSE, like the HSE training support scheme. You can use that to doing diplomas and to do special interest. There is a diplomas for women health, diplomas in dermatology, musculoskeletal. So you can use your allowance to do some diplomas. So for the SHO registrar, in the first 2 years, you will have 1,750. GB registrar, you will have 2,500. And for the third and fourth year GB trainee, there is 500 euros for training per year. So you can use your training support allowance during your training years just for your professional development as well, and to develop special interest. Payment and salary during the training. Some will ask this question. So the payment is as per HSE scale. So the payment will be depending on your clinical experience, and it will be same as those for standalone. So after completing your general practice training, there is a lot of career pathways you can take. You can work as a GB, like clinical GB, in diverse setting, rural, urban, community, or hospital-based. Of course, as I mentioned, there is always an opportunity to specialize or develop interests like sport medicine, geriatric, mental health, chronic diseases, and obesity, sleep medicine, and you can name it. There is also a role in teaching, research, healthcare leadership, potential for portfolio career, like researches, administration policies. And of course, you can secure, it's just a secure, flexible careers option for full-time and part-time work as well. As I mentioned, you can work full week. You can take only 2 days a week, 3 days a week, or you can go 2 days clinical, 3 days academic, or what you can choose what you want. It's very flexible. Okay, thank you. And now I came to the end of my presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Reem. It's excellent and informative presentation. Thank you. I have to mention Dr. Reem joined the training, as she said, from Sudan. So she managed during a very difficult time during the war. She muddled her way and she went through a MERS challenge. We're not going to talk about it now. But we are so proud of her. She managed to come directly from Sudan to the training. This is a new trend I think we're seeing now, HSE. Before our colleagues, from other countries, especially Pakistani, they would have better opportunities. But I think this is really a testament that we are resilient if we have the determination, if we know what we're doing, and our commitment. Her story is inspiring, and everyone can do it. As she said, it's not difficult. Just you have to keep an eye on the ICGB. You will have to be aware of the requirement. We can talk about it again. And very important, the planning. If you're coming from Sudan, the timeline is very important. You need to make sure that you are eligible before you pay money or hold any high hopes. Because I think there is a time, how long is the test valid? We know the OET is valid for 2 years only, isn't it? And the SGT or the clinical test?
It's just, you cannot take it over to next year, so it's only 1 year.
Okay, so it's very important planning before and get yourself ready. Registration is the first step always, and of course then you take it easy. So it doesn't need to have an Irish experience, but you can get yourself ready in other ways. Our skills, our communication, all the exams, if you have diplomas, it's a bonus because it's competitive. Thank you very much, Reem. We are waiting for your questions. Please keep it coming. And now Dr. Azza is going to take us through the process of the rural GB, and maybe other pathways as well to work as GB in Ireland.
Yes. First, I thank you very much for attending, people. I've been getting a lot of requests for Dia. May I just say...
You're going to introduce yourself, please.
Before I say anything, let me just say that I am to be so informal about this, but my name is Azza Abdel Ghaffar. I came from Sudan in 2015, graduated from Mahfad University for women in 2003. I'm not that old, but Graduated, did my housemanship in Sudan, the 2 year housemanship, not the 1.5 that people are doing used to do before the war. So finished the khidma, and then I went to Egypt because there was no family medicine in Sudan at the time. So I went to Egypt and I did the RCGP International. It was a structured program, unlike the one in Emirates. So by the end of it, I actually finished three things. I finished the Egyptian Board of Family Medicine, the RCGP International, and the Arab Board. So, of course, all my colleagues were going, why are you even thinking of going to Europe? You should be going to Al Khalij. You should be making money for Al Khalij. And dahab, 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 and because you are a female. So I said no priorities to the passport because I'm planning my retirement program because I'm a lazy woman. So I came to Ireland and I came through the alternative pathway that I'm to you about. But first, I'm going to talk to you about the ruler program. So to do that, I need to share my screen. I need to share. Is it okay if I'm sharing my, yeah, I think I'm going to start sharing.
This is a great start at that. That means you have a passion for primary care and GP from the beginning, from Sudan. And this is very, very important for our colleagues. During the process, you will be asked to provide a statement, position statement, or to write about why you want to be a GP. And this is very important. During my time when I apply for training, there is no exams. It's all speaking about yourself, your experience, and you try to make sense for them why you choose to be a GP. So always think about it, write it down, and you have to link it to your own experience to make it, to convince them and make it just real. And you think for yourself, be honest about really why you want to be. Okay, Asaf? Thank you.
Now, the most important thing I need to tell you is it's simple. ريم and رانيا ولاد الوزة البيضاء واحنا ولاد الوزة السوداء. It's as simple as that. So, as much as they have a very well structured training program of 4 years, which will equip you in every sense, as much as in our ruler program, it all depends on your experience. Because as Dr. Rania Dilwakti said, it is all about what kind of experience you're coming with into Ireland. So, there is no mercy. There is no acceptability of إنه أنت ما بتعرف حاجة about family medicine. Zilch. Yes, there is an acceptability that it is a different way of practicing between the Middle East and Europe, but it is not acceptable that you don't have any kind of GP experience at all. So I'll talk about the eligibility criteria in a minute, but I want to tell you why Ireland is all of a sudden wanting so much GPs. So if you can look at this map, it may seem like a big map, but this is the Republic of Ireland. We are different from Ireland, the Irish part of the United Kingdom, because a lot of people think that we are part of the UK pound. We are not part of the sterling pound. We are the euro. We are part of the EU. And such, our life is a little bit easier now after Brexit than the UK people. So we have more advantages than them when it comes to traveling around Europe, things like that. Now, if you can see here in the green part, you will see Carlow. This is where I'm living. You can see up here, this is Dublin, the capital. Now you'd think, oh my God, there's a huge county in the middle between them. Actually, Dublin is 1 or 15 minutes away from me. 50 minutes away from me. 1 hour. يعني you just reach from Durman to Khartoum. That's as simple as it is. You can cross all the way from Dublin to Galway, which is Belgorod, cross Ireland in 4 hours. Okay, we have motorways. So the most important thing, which is what I want to focus on people also, because these are a lot of questions in your minds. You can cross all of Ireland up and down everywhere you want to go, as long as you know how to drive, as long as you have a car. Let's talk about the program first and come back. In Ireland, the population has increased drastically in 2018. And so they estimate, they haven't done a census anytime recently, but they have an estimation that it is has increased around 700,000. But because of the Ukraine war, Ireland opened its arms, of course, to welcome all the Ukrainians in. So I'm thinking we have probably reached something around 1 million by now. Since 2023, and this is the number I have been seeing in the newspaper since then, around 176 GPs are retiring above the age of 60, and they're retiring. Now, the good thing about the GP life is that you can keep on practicing until the age of 75. That's the maximum they allow you. After the age of 70, there is no indemnity. Medical indemnity will not cover you well, but it will create a specific criteria for you, or category for you, the retiring GP, because this category was needed when COVID hit, so that they come back and give the vaccinations to people. As a result, Ireland found itself in need of around 500 to 600, and I think I'm underestimating this number. I think the numbers are way bigger than that, and I heard somewhere it's 5,000 to 6,000 GPs in the next 6 years. So, guys, come in while the gate is open. It's as simple as that. The burden of services has shifted from hospitals and from secondary and tertiary care to us. So we are doing things that you would imagine only be done in a hospital. And as a comparison, let me do a small, tiny comparison. In Sudan and in Egypt, and by the way, I'm a registered specialist in Sudan also, because the first 2 batches of family medicine of Sudan درسناهم احنا. So in the primary healthcare in Sudan, in the primary healthcare in Egypt, it's a whole building that has a lab, that has consultation rooms, even sometimes an X-ray room. And in Egypt, we used to have a labor room also. So in Ireland, it is primitive. It is lovely. We have everything, and we have nurses that can do a world of things. But when it comes to services like testing, lab services, and all of that, it will be paralysis. So if you want to come to Ireland, your clinical sense has to be high. Really, really high. You have to be able, you are literally a specialist, or as my mentor now says, and he heard it from his mentor, we are our knowledge as GPs is literally an inch deep, but a mile wide. So really and truly, we are the house. If you watch House series, we are the house of Ireland. We do everything. And we are the ones who know where to go, where to send the patients. So that's a big responsibility. If you are not up to it, if you are not up to studying, don't think of coming. Okay? Now, let me see here. So this is the first pathway I'm going to talk about. As Reem probably, it's similar. It's not as similar as what is in the training scheme, but it is actually the first step is all the same. They want you to know English and to prove and provide evidence that you know English. For those who are living in Ireland, because when I applied to the program, I applied 3 years ago. At that time, I was practicing in Ireland for 7 years. So I provided an IELTS exam that was done in 2013. And they didn't need more than that, because my proficiency in English has been proven even before I come to Ireland. So you will need the OAT or the IELTS exam, and you apply it as part of the evidence. You go into the ICGP website immediately, wherever you are in the world, people. Go into the ICGP website immediately, create your account, and fill up the application. The same process. You will have to have letters from 2 referees, and 2 referees who are contactable. Okay. You will have to have a show of evidence that you have been practicing as a GP for the past 2 years. Now, this applies in different specialities. They applied, they were all rejected, including emergency medicine. Why were they medicine زمان كانوا بياخدوا منهم عادي. We have, as I said, the burden of the services has become even bigger than just your medicine knowledge or your acute care knowledge. It is in every specialty. You have to know things. So when you apply, The application process won't take you much more than 3 hours, 4 hours. You're sitting there, bimazaj, you fill up everything and you apply and you pay the €100. Once you pay the €100, you wait. In 2-3 days, our program is quite effective. They love emails, so they will send you an email quickly and they will say yes, you are eligible for the interview, or they may not send you an email and they wait and they process your paperwork. If they don't answer you quickly, that may not be anything, but it also may not be a good sign. They sometimes sit and do meetings about these applications, and they decide immediately that you're not eligible. If they decide you're eligible, within days, they will send you an email saying, well, you are eligible, wait for the interview, and we will be communicating with you in 2 weeks. So in the process, if you have, they will really, I'll talk about this part in the alternative pathway. In this pathway, if you're outside the country and you're living outside the country, of course, you don't know which clinic you want to be in or start searching for a job in a clinic. So what they do is they start looking for a clinic for you. You're an easy person if you're outside the country. And by the way, when you are applying to them, you don't even need an IMC number. Okay, you are applying from outside. You are freshly applying to our program. You don't need an IMC number. You don't need anything. They will do the interview. They decide that you are a good eligible member. No problem. We want this doctor. So if we want this doctor, what they do is they go ahead and tell you, you'll start applying to the IMC. The pathway is expedited. You get your IMC number in a matter of 4 weeks or 6 weeks. Once you get it, you then move on, that they find a clinic for you and they tell you where the clinic is. Now, in their agreement with the clinics, usually what they do is they ask the clinic to provide you with several things. You are not getting paid by the HSE like the scheme, you are actually getting paid by the clinic. فإنت كأنك جاي وظيفة في الخليج. It's the same kind of agreement. You are litifag annually. You will be doing out of hours. Out of hours means, out of hours is the emergency GP service in hours between 6 p.m. to the morning, or in the weekends, full weekends. So every clinic is allocated في المنطقة بتاعتها, allocated a certain rota of hours لازم تغطيها. And you will be, that clinic will be actually these hours لازم يكون في a member or two of this clinic شغالين. It's a different مبنى, it's a different kind of service, an HSE service. انت بتمشي بتشتغل your shiftات هناك and everything. They're not exhaustive at all, but you need perfect, very good acute care knowledge. Okay, because you may have simply emergency things that haven't made their way into the hospital. So you will be dealing with everything, surgery, you will be dealing with medicine, you'll be dealing with pediatrics, all the emergencies in these specialties. Okay, now, so you go forward and they search for a clinic for you. While they're searching for the clinic for you, you undergo the interview online. The interview is simple. It's a lovely chat. The two directors, Velma Harkins and Dermot Quinlan, who is also the medical director of the ICGP, are the ones in charge of this program also, directly in charge of it. So they will have an interview with you and they will ask you a few questions, 3 or 4 kinds of questions. Mainly, why do you want to come to Ireland? Why specifically the choice of Ireland? They will ask you about your experience over there. They will ask you about your weaknesses. Here, you need to be really, I'm going to be very truthful, but at the same time, I need to show them that I am willing to learn. So you will say my weaknesses, for example, and this is true, and they know it by now. In the Middle East, we have a problem with psychiatry. We have a problem with women's health things. So these two areas, and especially if it was for a male, these are the 2 areas that are a huge problem. Chronic disease constitutes, it's basically at this point nothing to us, but the other things are the important thing. Now, they will talk to you about that. They want to know your weaknesses. witnesses, they will give you a question about what would you do in situational questions, let's say. So they'll throw 2-3 questions at you, and they will see what your remark is and what your way of thought is. And then they will ask you, tell us about a medical error that you have done and how did you deal with it. That is done. Again, be very truthful, please. Then you get into the process of they have to provide you with an indemnity. Now, I am going to be very honest here. If you are coming from outside Ireland, and if you don't have already an indemnity with any of the companies like MPS, you will be then going into an agreement with one company only. It's called Challenge. Now, the main training scheme, they are covered by the HSE, under the umbrella of the HSE. We are not. We are the cowboys. So we are treated as a GP coming in. Khalas, you are almost like you're acting on your own. You have to protect yourself on your own. So you go under the indemnity of a company called Challenge. It is not cheap. It is 10,000 euros a year. So you would need a contract that is not less 100,000 annually, which is quite easy, by the way, as long as you're willing to work 4 days a week. Okay, so you sign your contract. I would suggest that please do not sign contracts without getting back to someone who is living in Ireland. In these contracts, there is a lot of hidden areas that we can advise you about, okay? But I wouldn't say, if you have a friend in Ireland, let them take a look at that contract. I remember shutting down 1 or 2 contracts because there were problems with them, okay? Now, you sign your contract, and they tell you, okay, come over. My advice to you, do not quit your job wherever you are and come over. Take absence of leave, إجازة من غير مرتب, and then come over. Come over on your own first, because Ireland has a housing situation problem. So you come over, you do your induction day. Please drive. Get your license with you, because there is an exemption here in Ireland. If you already know how to drive, you can literally have a car within 6 months. Ireland is not a country that you can move around in with buses, and there are buses, trains, everything, but مواعيد غير موثوق فيها. So all of us drive. You have to be able to drive or manage your time properly. There is no area for delays in Ireland, okay, in our field. Now, let's move forward. The alternative pathway, which is the pathway I followed, the pathway I came through, because في زمني ما كان في الprogram ده أصلا. They were not entertaining anyone outside the GP training program. So when we came, I came in 2015, as I said. I wanted to try Ireland and to see. في نفس الوقت كنت قدمت للإمارات. Ireland came quickly, even before I did my Arab board exam. So I came through and I said, let me try the 3 years. في حاجة اسمها atypical working scheme, atypical permit. Atypical permit is a permit given for a doctor to come in and work for 3 months. You automatically make loads of money, but that load of money, you don't get it until the end of the year. You get a refund on top of it. Literally, I was rich in 3 months. I was happy. So I came in, went into the out of hours work, which is working in the pit is what I like to call it. فذكرتني بأيام الهاوس اوفيسر housemanship في مستشفى درمان. بس هي حاجة تشبهها كده. And I was taking care of a center on my own. ولا كان حتى معايا nurse. كان معي بس الدرايفر اللي بيوديني home visits. The area I was in a ولاية called Tipperary. And it was حتة مشهورة إنها فعلا حتة كاوبويات. I was also minding 26 nursing homes at night. So it was a shock to me من الفاميلي medicine اللي أنا تعلمته in the Middle East. So I had to upgrade myself quickly. The good thing about it was that it was all acute care. So لما مشيت جيت راجعة اكتشفت a lot of things. اكتشفت إنها هي it's very difficult, it's very challenging. البيشنت اللي بيجيك بالليل ده you have to sort him out. ما عندك طريقة. Most of the patients, they don't want to go to the hospital. The hospital was an hour away. So the ambulance بتجيك دي لما تكون سريعة بتجيك في خلال 45 دقيقة. So if it's a bleeding patient, you have to know what to do. If it's a person with a dislocated joint, إن شاء الله تكون كويس بتسمع you're good with screaming, or be able to put back a joint if you're good with orthopedics. So anyway, after 3 months, I thought, oh, okay, this needs more knowledge about emergency medicine. And كنت أدوب عملت لي course in Egypt, a brilliant course with ATLS. And it's in Cairo. It's beautiful. بتاع emergency رهيب جدا يعني. Acute trauma support. And then ACLS, of course. Please, people, do your ACLS, do your BLS, do all of them, update them regularly because you do need them as a GP. So anyway, I went and I came back. I made them an offer. قلت لهم, I'll take care of that center for the next 2 years. If you, at night shift, if you bring me back with a contract. Now, let me give you the other piece of news that is very good. After you come in as a GP, after 2 years, you get stamp 4. Stamp 4 دي معناها الإقامة المستديمة. After 2 years. After you finish your 5th year, you get your citizenship. Okay? So I wanted those 2 years. And وإحنا كان معمول لنا exemption at that time. الناس اللي بتجي out of hours. So after 2 years, I knew I was going to get my passport, get my residency. So I was willing to suffer. So I came back. I was working 4 nights a week. And it was a nice long contract and stayed for the 2 years. Now, the other difference that all of you will really like, and let me say it right now, your time means money here in Ireland. There is no area for working for free. Nothing like that. You get paid by the hour. أنت بتبقى سمسار نفسك. So you, after the 2 years, you are allowed to open your own company. So, and to do your own things. Deal with agencies, deal everywhere, work wherever you want. So after 2 years, you start your locum work and you rate yourself. Don't be greedy. Rate yourself per session. A session here 4 hours in a GP clinic. اللي هي بتكون من 9 لواحدة ظهر and then في lunch hour and then من 2 till 6. Okay, so each session دي واحدة. في شغل out of hours you are paid per hour. And then you have in the إجازات وكده you are paid double. Sometimes in some areas you are paid 1.5 in some areas. يعني تخيل أنت ممكن تكون يومك in Dublin you can work for 9 hours وتبقى 1000 euro. One day. So I'm just enticing you people, just enticing you. That's all. So how easy life is right here. So please come. The other benefits is that, which is زمان ما كانت فيه وحسي بقت فيه إنك أنت you can come in with your family immediately. Again, as I said, I don't advise that. Come in first. Have the home ready. أقعد 6 شهور. Have the home ready and everything حتى تجيبوا العيال and everything to schools. And I talked about the passport area. And of course, the most important thing that we're all looking for now is stability. So Ireland is a place of stability. I have met so many Sudanese who are coming in here. لا 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 أنا بس في طريقي لأستراليا. أنا بس في طريقي لكندا. Get out of the frame of mind. Ireland is a good place to settle down. Actually, the young Irish people go to Australia to get an experience of traveling and all of that and accumulate knowledge, and they come back and they open the clinics here. So it's a good family place. The Irish community is a very conservative community amongst the Europeans, whom are the most conservative, by the way. فعيشتنا معاهم حلوة. Okay. Now, the ruler program benefits, ruler program as it is, the application is open throughout the year. There is no time limit. There is no times هم بكيفوا فيها. I remember I did my interview in a matter of 4 days مما قدمتها. I didn't even think they will open it. قدمتها في الويكند. قدمتها on a Sunday. By Thursday I was doing my interview. stable job زي ما قلنا. ولما نقول stable job انت بتنزل الشغل هنا في الكلينيك. After 6 months you can apply for a mortgage and get a house. فانت ممكن تكون ولا rent ولا اي حاجة. You already buy yourself a house and live in a home within the matter of 6 months. انت حياتك ممكن تستعدل. طيب, as I said, your hour means money. Nothing ببلاش في البلد دي. You come here, you become brutal, بتبقوا تجار. طيب, free education for your children, a huge potential to have a clinic, and only after 2 years. It's an assessment program. The ruler program is an assessment program. But as we said, the eligibility is you have to have an experience as a GP outside the country first. And if you have a special interest, you strike gold. So I know there are 1 or 2 people here that I know have an interest in dermatology. ديل أكتر ناس حيكونوا well off basically because dermatology الحاجات بتاعت البوتوكس الحاجات بتاعت الفيلرز كل الحاجات زي دي fantastic. This is they have special offers for people like that within clinics. If you're single, here's the country to come get married. So also that is one of the important things that I need to talk about, especially if you're a female. The Irish are very, very lovely people, and they are very well home trained. They are family oriented, children oriented, and I'm talking about men, by the way. I do not advise the women, but female oriented, female, and they love us. Sudan has made a fantastic reputation in Ireland, and it's just beautiful. It's just, you will think of it as another Sudan online. Eligibility criteria, as we said, your experience, nothing more than that. But exams, we enter literally the same exams as the training scheme. بنخش معاهم نفس الامتحان. So there is the clinical knowledge exam, which is كتابي. انت بتكون قاعد في بيتكم, you have your computer on your desk, and you do your exam online and you get done with it. الامتحان الكلينيكال دي الوقت اللي بنشوف فيه ناس السكيم. احنا وناس السكيم بنتلاقى the last 2 years في الكلينكس. هم بكونوا الوقت داك في المستشفيات جو راجعين للكلينكس, واحنا اوريدي من بدايتنا بنبدا في الكلينكس. So بنتلاقى في الكلينيكال اكزام, دي هي الحته اللي بيمتحنونا كلها في مع بعض. Okay, and it is a day of nightmare, but afterwards you are happy. بعد طوالي انت بتاخد in 6 weeks انت بتاخد your specialist registration, and you are eligible to تفتح عيادتك. Okay, now this is the website, the rural program website, and probably I will send these slides to Dr. Rania, and then if you want to share them with all the pages, no problem at all. Okay, and that is it. I hope إنه ما أكون طولت عليكم.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you, Azza. That was very incredibly insightful and expected from you. Your wealth of experience, definitely. You're giving us a good, deeper insight about the experience, how you model your way in Ireland, and you are a brave woman, definitely, for all what you did. It's and you draw a nice picture about life in Ireland. You're so but it's a positive island, really. It's a lovely country. Yes, you're right. I totally agreed with you. It's a conservative community, more like us. That's why lots of people, and we have a huge community here in Ireland. We hope our kids will take over and still uphold, our name as Sudanese and as well as Irish. But very important for the newcomers to acknowledge that as well. Ireland is facing huge pressures, okay? Just influenced by whatever happening in the world around us. So health system is strained, people is strained, migration become a huge issue. So you need to become ready for whatever gonna face you, okay? Ready by the knowledge, ready by, seeking advice from people here in Ireland. They will be more oriented. This is very important. As you mentioned, you spoke about 2 important points, contracts and indemnity, which are very important. I think most of our colleagues in Middle East and maybe Sudan, they don't have as well, definitely Sudan, they don't have this concept of insurance to be protected. Medical indemnity is a medical insurance. You have to be insured by a community for your practice against any, medical legal suits. Very important. So this is it's an important step. Middle East, huge problem. We hear lots of stories now, people seeking support from the colleagues and from the community. In Ireland, there is no way you're going to be doing it without support, okay? So you get yourself ready for this. If we need, we're going to talk about it, whatever, whenever you want. We are happy to help. We have lots of other platforms apart from SDUI. We have our WhatsApp group. All the colleagues who are really interested in GB life in Ireland, they're welcome to join us. You can reach through us. You can get our contact from SDUI. Very important. The second point you raised is the contracts. And yes, myself, I'm a recently, a business owner, have my own business. So I get to know it's a quite tricky area and very important. We heard recently as well, few sad stories. Some colleagues, they came and struggled because of just quite misleading contracts. Okay? Believe me, even in Ireland, employment, exploitation, people, they can abuse you. It's still happening here in Ireland, So you have to be aware of this because in the GB, in the primary care community and GB work, you're not very supported. It's not like HSE. Other colleagues or the others who work as NCHDs, non-consultant or consultant doctors, they're very well supported. And the system is quite clear. But a GB in Ireland, because it's a mixture of both public and private service. So, and with private service, business owners, they always think about their own interest first. So we are happy to give advice whenever needed regarding the contracts, please. And if you want to run it as well officially through solicitor, that's really what we advise. So don't be alone. We're happy to talk, and we are all here. The support and the collaboration is what we're here for. We're available for you. Thank you very much, Shazza.
Thank you. Thank you. I have a group. I don't want to advertise it. These are people who are already applied and they're waiting for their interviews. But what I'm going to invite you to do is whenever you apply to the ruler program, because I want people who are serious. I'm not ready to work with people who have not ready to the ruler program. So please, the minute you apply, then come look for me to the ruler program, come look for me and I will do everything, okay? And just to answer one question over there.
You can put the group, please, on the chat here. We can share it for them if you want.
Out of hours, yes, you can come work into the out of hours first, and this is how everyone does it. They work into the out of hours, and then you get picked up to the program from there. No problem at all.
So about the out of hour, there are few companies. These are local companies that you need to register with them, and they can get you. I think you will have names or list better than me.
Yeah.
About the out of hour, yeah.
But we have.
Are we good for time? Our colleague? So questions, we have almost not much so far. They're asking about, the first question was about material to study to pass the situation judgment test.
So I can take this question. SJD test, of course, I presume that you were speaking about next year, not next Wednesday. So the first of all, you will start with IMC, especially if you are from outside Ireland, start with the IMC ethical guideline. That will give you a very, very solid picture about what is right and what is wrong. And it will give you a base of how would you rank your option and how would you prioritize your options is the first thing. The second thing is that there is a PowerPoint, a very informative PowerPoint. I don't remember where I get that PowerPoint, but I can share it. It's very useful for like explaining what's the exam, what's the techniques that, and the tips for answers. Then you can go to Oxford Handbook for SJT. It's about 250 question. It's very, very good at start point. From that, there is online website. You can subscribe to any of it. There is Past Medicine, there is Samson, there is A-Medica, and there is GBQ Pro Quest, something like that. So it really doesn't matter which material or which website you used. The most important thing that's the practice and your techniques in solving the questions. Also, if this is your first time to hear about the SJT, it's worth that you go to YouTube and just search and watch a lot of videos about the exams and the tips and tricks. After that, you can go directly and practice it. Just like practice, and that's it.
Reem, do you think it's more like Blab 2?
Blab, no, it's not like Blab 2. So as the SJT part, I'm speaking about the SJT part. So the SJT part, they will give you situations in the hospital. They will give you situations in the with your patient, with your colleagues, with your consultant, with your junior, your seniors, and they will ask you how to approach this specific situation, or what will you do in this specific situation. So it's not testing your it's testing your communication as the professionalism and this stuff, but it's not testing like how would you communicate with patient one-to-one. So it like testing your integrity, professionalism, team working, and how it's your and the rationale as well. So the clinical part of the exam, you can easily pass that if you were preparing for PLAB 1, because PLAB 1 as well, it's the same level of difficulty for the internship. But SJT needs a lot of practice as well.
Okay, we have more questions coming about the rural program, Azza. So they're asking about, can I join GB out of hour with rural program? I mean, as a practicing medical officer in health center in Gulf, without specific postgraduate exams other than self-learning and practicing for 8 years in health centers.
8 years in a health center, most certainly, as long as you know your acute care, as long as you can get 2 recommendations, no problem at all. Actually, they want a person who is practicing. This is the need for a person who is practicing with clinical knowledge. Yeah, perfect. You are a perfect candidate for it.
Okay. If there are 2 interviews or just 1 in rural program, and when we can apply?
1. They don't have time for us. It's just 1, and it's a half an hour. They say it's 45 minutes, but I swear it was just a half an hour. Hello, how do you do? A nice chat, goodbye. That was it. I was in.
1 interview per year, or for the application?
For you. They decide on you. Okay. They give you the time in the email. They make the interview with you online on the Zoom. That's it. بجد احنا حاجتنا فيو سريعة.
I think because they are considering your previous experience, and they will see your CV or somebody coming with 80 years experience. So, and the rest is, by the way, this rural program is the same as the supervised registration. You mentioned a very important point. You said that fast track the registration within 4 to 6 weeks.
Yes.
And I think this is very good point for our colleagues back home, Sudan. We're having lots of interest and questions coming out how to get from Sudan into GB. So this is a fast track process for quick registration, because we know registration with IMCs, they can take more, minimum is 2 years. You know, yeah.
I thought it was 9 months.
Oh, well, no, registration with IMC is getting really, it's taking very long time. But this is like a fast track registration, because you will be supervised. HSE opened a few years ago in other specialties hospital for NCHDs. They have this supervised registration whenever they are in need for doctors in other specialties, not just the GP. So this is very good. Thank you very much, Azza. And so you have the experience, you're gonna come, you will be supervised, you will not be alone, and then they will know that's here where your contract come. Usually you would have probation periods in every contract, the same like in Middle East, you know. They assess you, they see, and then you will have your permanent contract for 2 years, for 1 year, or whatever. Okay.
And serious about evaluating yourself, please, because they have no qualms once you start. If your clinic feels or decides that you're not eligible, you will be kicked out quickly from even from the IMC, you will be kicked out of the country. There were incidents where they realized that the person is doing, for example, they discovered that it wasn't even a doctor. There were 3 colleagues that not from Sudan, from another country, who came in. They started with the clinic. They didn't continue for more than a week, and they were kicked out. So the program is an assessment program. They're assessing you from day one. They're not teaching you anything. They don't want to teach you. It is a self-learning. You study on your own. You prove yourself on your own. So put in mind, if you're not ready for studying, not ready to prove yourself, حاجاتك تعبانة, don't come.
It's get yourself ready coming in Ireland. You need the language, the Irish language. Irish accent is different, you know, maybe from the British or the American we get used to. Get yourself ready for a little bit. And that is very important. Get yourself with the communication, knowing the community you're coming to. And this is very important, and how to be a safe doctor. Believe me, it's not that difficult. The GP work is hectic, it's a lot. And the communication is the most important part about it. Being honest, know your limits, how to communicate your limits is very important. And then if you are a safe doctor, you're more than welcome.
If you don't know something, say you don't know. This is the
exactly. That's the point. And don't pretend. They're very smart, the Irish. They can see in your eyes and face, and they're always coming to us. They're always our patients. They come to us like بيقطعوا معنا, especially about the hospital doctors. They're always coming بيقطعوا about the hospital doctors. That's why this is about the continuity of care. We are the one, we listen to them, we listen, and they share with us everything. So they always say, I knew, he doesn't know that. I have seen it in his face, and he was not confident. They always say it. So for our colleagues back as well, the NCHDs, it's always be honest. And it's better to say, I'm not sure, I don't know, I will check and get back to you. Simple as that. Than pretend that you know it all. Nobody knows it all. Okay, so now the next question, they said, okay, how to engage in practice in Ireland as the situation is different compared to Gulf? I mean, induction period before you grasp on understanding to work and the system in out of hour.
You come get into my group.
Okay. Bravo, good.
Tell you anymore. That's what I plan to do. You get into my group so I can tell you what cases, what I've been doing. For example, I was working the out of hours last weekend, Saturday and Sunday, 9 hours each day. So brilliantly, my ladies in the group, they said, Azza, bring us the cases that you've dealt with. So I wrote a list, and what I do is I write a list and I come and I throw it in the group. And I taught them where to go for the websites to read from, antibiotic prescribing, HSE websites, and all of that. So they have been siphoning the cases that I have seen, and they have been going and studying them. Exactly. So I wanted to give them the look of it. I did them a video or two of how Socrates works, of what the doctor bag looks like in the out of hours.
Yeah, exactly. So stay in touch with colleagues, and there is lots of group. Thank you, Azza is a leader in this. And there is lots of other groups, you know, our colleagues from Pakistan as well, they are pioneers in this, teaching and collaborating and giving insight to their colleagues who are coming. Nobody will come to a country or a new system that he's completely blind. I think this is more, we have seen it among our Sudanese colleagues. And that's why we are passionate for this collaboration. You should be quite aware what you're going to face, how you're going to muddle your way through the challenge, what you manage. If you're expecting something, it won't come to you as a shock. So very important, stay in touch, get into the groups when you are planning to come here or wherever. And we are always happy to help. We have our groups as well, but I think our group now is dominated more by the trainees, okay? But we are happy to help. Maybe that's why it's us, ours is quiet, you took it all.
Yes, exactly. So quiet. But I need to also add a piece here. Guys, when you come over, it doesn't end by you just landing here. على فكرة. You need to still keep up and what we say pay it forward. انت بعد شوي هتكون you are the advisor because we don't have the energy and the time to keep it going forever. I personally do because I like teaching, but and I do it as part of satisfying me as a hobby and an addiction. But what I'm trying to say is you have to collaborate with others. The South Africans created a union that is so strong that I remember last year there was a problem in our ruler program where the contracts for the out of hours كانوا أجبرونا إنه نشتغل ال out of hours 100 hours a year for free. The GPs throughout Ireland, South African GP Union, had a strike for a full day in the out of hours. And they immediately retracted that. So they immediately retracted وبقوا يدفعوا للناس كلها per hour.
Okay, power of people. Yes, when you come together, definitely. Yeah, and in Ireland, in this part of the world, everyone has a right if you really stay behind it. ما بدي حق ورا مطالب, definitely here. So you know your rights and then think how you go out and get them, okay? And power of people, definitely, rather than doing it alone, okay? It's very important to, that's why our unions is very important, guys. That's why we advise always, as a doctor, when you come here, I always say that for all the people, you have two important unions. Irish Medical Organization, don't leave yourself without support. You have to join IMO. And our community, our Sudanese Doctor Union, is very important to be part of it, or any other unions if you want, but your community.
Union, Rania. I want to create Sudanese GP Union.
We will. We have the British one. We have the Sudanese British Primary Care Association. This is all the GPs. I'm part of them. Okay. I begged our colleagues at that time when we started the British one, we were very little here in Ireland, but we are huge now. The number increasing, and we will be joining them. But the Brexit, we couldn't do it as joint because of the Brexit. So we can't join now. Although for the charity, it's allowed to join still the Irish and the British, and that's why we stopped all our, effort in this area to join our British. Yeah, but we work together for everything in Sudan, especially our work in Sudan with the British GPs, Sudanese British.
You're more active than we are. Yeah, you're more active on the British side.
The British one, because we share the same language. Most of our colleagues here in Ireland, they don't understand the primary care concept, but the British guys, we share the same language. Okay, sorry, we don't want to keep you longer. So another question. I tried to join your group, Dr. Azza, but was told only for females. Please help me. For females? Is that right?
No. For females. That day I was doing a video on حاجة هايفة نسويها هايفة. No, oh God, we forgot you. Sorry, we were supposed to bring you in a day or two.
So did you kick the guys out? No, we cannot be.
Never. Please, Hiba is supposed to bring you in. Yes, we will bring you in. We just forgot you. We're so sorry.
Okay. So all the question is about how to join Yoaza. Good. And I get the recording of this session, please. I think SDUI always, they have it on their Facebook. So look at the Facebook and they can confirm if any of the SDUI member here, the committee, they can confirm this. Or they can send it for us, the session, and whoever needed, we can circulate around. Okay?
Apply first and then come into my group please عشان احنا كلنا نفس المستوى انا دايره امشي الناس كلها بنفس المستوى. Okay, so there is no point انكم تكونوا جايين يا دوب بتفكروا ولا يا ربي اعمل شنو ولا so I don't know how to put the link from the WhatsApp up into the Zoom. I wasn't able to do it, so I
if
just
you send it for me, I'm gonna try. If you send it for me, Posh, yeah, because before we leave them, I think we are gonna wrap up our session coming to an end. And thank you very much for everybody who joined us today. Thank you again for Reem and Azza. Thank you for SDUI. And please don't hesitate to ask for any advice and reach out.
Yes, hello.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Emmanuel.
Good
Emmanuel
afternoon.
Adwoka.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm from South Sudan. I'm a doctor. I studied in Sudan. I graduated from University of Bahrain, and I have an active IMC registration for a year now. Well, this is my first contact with the Sudanese community in Ireland, but I got all my guidance throughout the registration with IMC from the recorded videos of Sudanese senior doctors. So first, I would like to say thank you to Sudanese senior doctors for their actually charitable messages. Currently, I'm working with MSF in Malakal, and I've been looking forward the way to Ireland after the registration. And I have applied actually many times as SHO, but it was really very difficult. So I'm glad to know about this opportunity now. And I will try to also be in touch and also to follow. أنا سعيد جدا إنه قدرت
Thank you very much, Saidin. We are
أتواصل
happy as well
معكم.
for your participation and to hear your voice and see you. That's very good, good. Yes, I think it's becoming very competitive. The we call it here NCHD, non-consultant hospital jobs, NCHD and SHOs, but keep trying, don't give up. And general advice, try the areas where you apply for is very important. Try to stay for the first job, maybe avoid the big hospitals in Dublin, and you can go other areas. Azza, did you attend this session from the start?
yeah.
No, our colleagues, Jad, did you attend the session from the start? Azza shared the map of
Yes.
Ireland. Yes, did you see that?
Yes, yeah.
So remote areas outside Dublin, maybe your chance is better. Okay, you can speak to us. Speak to contact SDUI. I'm sure they will be able to advise on this, and you're welcome. GB Azza, she said it all. And you would have the recording, and you can contact Azza and join her group. If you're thinking about training pathways, get MSF in Cairo.
No, in Malakal, actually, South Sudan.
Oh, South Sudan. Okay. Bravo.
But you are a great candidate.
Yes.
You are. You're a great candidate for the ruler program. How many years have you been with them?
Well, I'm a graduate of 2015, like now almost 10 years.
Yeah, good.
And I've been practicing general practice, but most of the time I took pediatric. But still, we have a hospital of chronic care unit. We deal with cases like all the other comorbidities are chronic. You have like a unit of PCU where
You will be
it's
able
not
to
maybe
have a
I
chance of the
can
training, natural training. Is that right, Ada?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
mentioned something about this three.
And if you have such experience, Jad, you don't need the training. You need more to familiarize yourself with, you'll be saving yourself a lot of time because your experience is actually very good.
okay, shukran.
Uh,
I'll try my best.
with all respect, yeah, there is other consideration, Jad, as well. Certificate of completion of training, going other part of the world like Canada and Australia. If you have this, especially if you are still young, and the support really in the training. I personally, all of our colleagues, I think if they get the chance into the training, that's better for us. Support in the training, structured training, better in the national than the rural, definitely.
Yes.
But the rural is a good chance as well for career progression, and especially during this time of the countries, things are not stable in Sudan.
Let's put it this way, Rania. Training scheme is for a person, as you said, who's young and
Yes.
still thinking that they might have ideas of going elsewhere. As I said in my presentation, if you want to stabilize خلاص Sudan to retire, the ruler is حقك. خلاص فترت من الحوامة ومن الغربة. Come and settle down. So it's
But I can
Okay.
share my.
Yeah, so this is a group like it supports whoever are IMC registered or active and are searching for like standalone or SHO post. So you will find the colleagues and will find peers who can help you in the application process.
That's good. I would share my contact to be added if possible.
Okay, yeah, we can because I cannot edit list.
Okay, okay.
Rania, are there any more questions?
No more questions. I'm just sharing the link for your group here, and maybe give a chance for, if that's your WhatsApp group, and give a chance for whoever interested on it. And if no more questions coming, I think we will end it. So you sent two links for me. Are they different groups or the same? I'm going to share both.
It's the same.
At the same, are they? Yeah, I think, yeah, that's the two links you sent to me. But I think I can see now they are the same, yes, for the WhatsApp group.
So,
okay, people are still coming, and we're gonna end this session. Thank you very much. The recording will be available once the SDI is ready. And keep an eye on the Facebook. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. See you. Take care. Bye. Thank you.